It took me 3 years to become profitable, but I know I could have done it way faster if I just focused on the things that I'm going to tell you in this video. For the first 2 years of my trading, I saw absolutely no returns from it. I was spending hours at the charts, watching videos about trading, buying courses about trading, trying different strategies, changing my approaches every few weeks, and still I was getting nowhere. Then 1 year changed everything. And now, after 4 years of profitable trading has completely changed my life. So in this video, I'm going to talk about exactly the things that I would focus on if I had to start from scratch again, and how you can use them to speed your process of becoming profitable. The first mistake that I did, and you're probably doing it too, is that you're trying to learn absolutely everything. And what I mean by that is that there's always something shinier. I'm telling you, as someone that has been trading for 7 years, I've seen everything. I've seen smart money concepts being the one true thing. I've seen ICT being, if you don't trade ICT, you'll never become profitable. And now the current thing right now is order flow. If you don't trade order flow or volume profile, then you are not profitable. And it's always the same cycle of, oh, this thing has stopped working, and so you have to focus on this new thing that would have thought I'm teaching, right? This held me back a lot because every single time that I was seeing progress in something, my mind would shift into something else. And this came from the belief that I had to learn everything in order to be able to become profitable and develop my own edge and even trade over the long term. But what I've noticed is that there's mainly one thing that trumps everything in the market, and that is direction. And that is going to be point number 2. You need to master direction before you even try to look for entries. Now, obviously, it's going to be incredibly important for you to understand other concepts that are going to tell you about direction. For example, value gaps, order blocks, anything that in your strategy derives the direction of the market. And that is going to be point number 2. You need to master direction before the entries. Now, in line with wanting to learn everything, one of the mistakes that I did a lot is that I always thought when I would buy a new course that the first thing that I need to master is the entries. I need to master the entries in order to finally be able to become profitable using this strategy. But that has never been the case. A strategy is not the entries. A strategy is the concepts behind the entries. For example, for myself, is 3 things. Direction is everything, right? Then it's the key levels that I expect the market to react from. And last but not least, it's going to be the targets. It's the 3 foundational concepts of how I execute on the markets. It's never about the entries, it's always about these 3 things. And entries is something that you don't even need someone to teach to you, because if they teached everything beforehand correctly, then the entries are just a side effect of the way that you are approaching the market. So this is why I always say master the direction, because when you master the direction of the market, I can tell you one thing for a fact: you could trade by just looking at the daily chart and still be profitable. The next point that I'm going to make is something that blows a lot of prop firm accounts. Now, here's the thing: the best prop firm right now, it has CFDs and it has futures. It is Funded Next. With code Kimmel, you can always get the best discount code. They have challenges for everyone. Doesn't matter if you want CFDs, futures, cheap, expensive, consistency rule, no consistency rule, they have something for you. So with that, let's proceed. Point number 3 is something that I struggled for a long time. I always thought that a profitable trader is someone that gets consistent profitable results. And it's true, that's what profitable means. But the mistake that I made, and the reason why I say that I was thinking about it wrong, is that I always thought that profits came from trades. But that's not true. Profits come from selective trades. Because if you take every single trade that you see out there, every single day you can find a position. Yet not all the positions are optimal, and not all opportunities are created the same. Some opportunities you have to go aggressive. In some other opportunities, you just have to step away. For example, this year, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars trading the market. Yet in February and March, I barely traded. Why? Because if you go check NASDAQ, what has it done? In February and March, it pretty much didn't move. But guess what I did in April and May? In April and May, I made hundreds of thousands of dollars, pretty much netting almost all of my P&L for the year in April and March, because the conditions were so clear and so amazing. right? So you have to understand that it's not about taking every setup that you see. It's about understanding why you're taking specific setups, trading less, and increasing the probability of those setups for you to speed up your process of becoming profitable. And obviously you need a very clear way of understanding when a trade is high probability and when a trade is not high probability. Now, point number 4 is going to be forecasting every day. You need to forecast every day. If someone forced me to only have one trading process, it would not be journaling, it would not be backtesting, it would not be hindsight testing, it would be forecasting. If there was one thing that I could do, it would be forecasting. Because at the end of the day, in order to consistently execute on your plan, you need to know exactly what you're waiting for every single day from the market. And that's why forecasting is so incredibly important. It's for you to understand what you're looking for from the market so that if that thing happens, then you execute. And then you judge your trading results based on how well you executed according to your forecast instead of how much money or R you're making. For example, bringing back February and March again, I actually traded amazingly well even though I ended up break even because I always stuck to the plan. But a lot of the times the plan was the direction is not clear, so therefore I'm not trading. So forecast every single day. Now, point number 5 is something that my second mentor told me, and it was funny because he didn't even tell me this, but it was between the lines of what he said. And that was that I printed out my trading plan, right? I printed out my trading plan. I was very proud and I showed him the trading plan and he was like, great. Now all you have to do is execute on this consistently. And then 1 month after, I sent him another copy of like trading plan version 2. And he was like, that's a quite fast way of changing your plan, isn't it? And he didn't even tell me anything. He didn't tell me, no, go back to your old one. Now looking back, I know exactly what he meant. He meant you don't have enough data to make changes to your plan because you need at least 30 trades for you to actually understand what is working and what is not working. Because a lot of the times we are so closed in on exactly what we believe the market is going to do or exactly what we believe the feedback is that we start changing things up and all of a sudden our edge starts over from scratch again. Now, here's the thing. Think about a coin flip. If I told you you have to be right 40% of the times on this coin flip, what would you do? You would just say, Kemal, okay, I pick heads and that's it. Over 1,000 throws, you know that you would be more profitable than 40% because usually it's going to be 50% heads, 50% tails. But what if it's tails 5 times in a row? Are you all of a sudden going to completely change your edge and start saying, actually, I want to go tails right now? No, you have to stick with what works, but you stick through it for a long enough period of time. There's a graph that I love to show a lot, and it's going to be right here, and that is that over a course of 1,000 trades, even with a 50% strike rate, you are still 100% guaranteed of losing 5 trades in a row. Now, point number 6 is learn from someone that has solved the problem that you're currently having. This is something very, very clear, which is if you want to become muscular, yes, you go to the gym, but if you want to speed it up, you pay for a personal trainer. If you want to get your taxes done, then you pay an accountant. If you want to become a professional basketball player, you need a coach. And the reason why this helps is because you're able to extract the knowledge from someone that has been in the position that you are currently in right now. And one tip can save you months, if not years of your trading, right? I try to make these videos as much as I can where I'm talking pretty much to my younger self, but really I'm talking to you because I know that very likely you are in the same position that old me was in. So I pretty much am talking to you as I would talk with my old self. These are videos that I would do that I would love to watch because it's pains that I know I felt, and if I would have heard these things and followed them to a T, I know that I would speed up my process. Now, if you want to learn more from me, I have a mentorship. It's Fund the Trading Blueprint that goes beyond these videos where I'm trading live every single week. I'm breaking the market down every single day before it happens. I'm breaking down the market as it is happening on the Discord. I'm answering questions. I'm doing Q&As, everything with the one goal of making you profitable as quick as I can. And then point number 7 is going to be something that is what destroys a lot of traders, and that is that you have to become boring. Trading is very exciting, so to say, but everything you do on a day-to-day basis should feel boring. Forecasting should be boring. You're saying the same things that you're looking for over and over again. But that's great because that means that you're not changing your plan so much. You're consistently looking at the same things, and that is increasing your probability of success. Now, when traders want something to be exciting, they want that adrenaline rush, they're going to make the mistake of not following all of the other principles, and that's what is going to keep them unprofitable. I can tell you right now, every single time that I'm looking at the market, today after 30 minutes I was like, okay, I'm not looking at anything anymore. You could say it's boring, my life is staring 30 minutes at the charts, but then I can do anything else for the rest of the day, right? For example, thinking about making this video. Now, trading has to be boring, but I can tell you that it is going to greatly impact your life if you follow all of these principles that can make you profitable quicker. And so with that, hope you all enjoyed. Check out FundTheNext with this video right here, and check out the best risk management for prop firms with this video right here.